Hello and thank you for watching Access Asia on France 24. Coming up, India's population is out of balance. Short more than 60 million women. We'll take a look at the dark secret behind the discrepancy. Can the O-Pod solve Hong Kong's housing crisis? A micro apartment comes with a small price, but a big catch. You'll be living in a concrete water pipe. And back from the brink, the world's last wild horse makes a comeback in Mongolia. We'll check in on the Sholvashki. We begin with India's worsening gender imbalance. Officials say the population lacks more than 60 million women, the result of a decades-old preference for male children. And the discrepancy can be explained by neglect, abortion, and infanticide. Today, the effects are visible. There are entire villages without a single woman. Anka Ula reports.
In this village, like thousands of others across India, there are more men than women. It's a difference that's plain to see outside on the streets. For every 1,000 boys who are born, there are only 782 girls. India's gender ratio is distorted by the practice of sex selection. Many Indians still see the birth of a girl as a curse.
It's a great joy when the baby is a boy, but if it's a girl, we are sad.
Why?
Because we need to spend money on the girl's wedding.
Mothers in this village often agree.
Thanks to our boys, we have a reputation in the village. Our name will live on. They'll become the owners of our house and our land.
Boys stay with their parents. They earn money and take care of us. That's why.
The villagers are wary to explain on camera what this preference for boys really means. Except for Sonia, who's a former nurse. Using coded language, she hints at how families screen for boys, well before the actual birth.
No one wants to give birth to a girl, so they get an ultrasound and then a cleaning. That way they only have boys. That's the mentality here.
What do you mean by cleaning?
The cleaning of the girls.
Reading between the lines, it's clear that Sonia is talking about abortion. According to the government, India is missing 63 million women, the equivalent of the entire population of the United Kingdom. By law, abortion in India is only authorized under certain strict conditions. Doctors are also forbidden to reveal the child's sex during an ultrasound. These precautions are meant to deter women from having abortions if they learn they are expecting a girl. But many find ways to get around these laws.
We are offering doctors more than 50,000, 40,000 rupees for this simple act of 2 minutes.
Rakesh Kumar is the head of a sensitivity program addressing the issue. His strategy? Targeting future parents in high schools and universities.
Sometimes little girls are just killed. They're given poisoned milk, or they're buried alive in sand. Some are starved until they die.
The students who are the future of the country. We are motivating them to not allow such things to happen in their life. And of course, we are confident we are going to make it a public program by the help of the youth.
The reality is grim. India's gender ratio has only gotten worse since 2012. On top of selective abortion, girls are also given less attention in terms of healthcare and education, all of which takes a toll on their life expectancy.
And on the back of that report on sex-selective abortions and female infanticide in India, we now look at the Me Too movement, this time in South Korea. There have been a series of resignations by high-profile men following accusations. And Nicholas Schwarzworth takes a look at a key woman fighting for change, Lee Eun-wee.
Lee Eun-wee began a battle against Samsung more than a decade ago after reporting unwelcome touching by a superior. Sidelined, her career as a sales rep at the company stagnated.
My boss said no one will believe what you say. If I had been a little bit weaker mentally, I would have jumped off the building I worked in.
Lee eventually won a payout in 2010 in her lawsuit against part of a conglomerate so powerful in South Korea. The country is often called the Republic of Samsung. Her case made headlines.
My most memorable message of support was someone telling me the management was responding better to complaints and the firm had become a better place thanks to you.
The Me Too movement against the abuse of women at first met a muted response in the country, but a growing number of South Korean women have come forward to accuse powerful figures in fields from politics and the arts to education and religion. Now working as a lawyer, Lee says she wants her case to inspire others to combat abuse wherever it is.
Samsung is at least better when you compare it to other companies in South Korea. My horrible situation at that time is really something that needs to be thought about. Managers view women who complain as people who cause trouble, who have issues, or are oversensitive, or who are simply too loud.
Lee and women's rights groups argue court rulings often reflect the male-dominated mindset of South Korean society. She says that while she's seen inquiries to her firm increase, South Korea's fundamentals have yet to change.
Hong Kong is suffering a housing crisis with real estate prices twice as high as here in Paris. The one developer has found an innovative way to cut costs by more than 10 times. The only catch, you must be willing to live in a concrete water pipe. Rebecca Rossman takes a closer look.
The housing prices in Hong Kong are high enough to give some people vertigo. But one man has found a surprising solution to the city's skyrocket real estate.
This is the O-Pod, a new kind of house made out of water tube. Let me show you. So this is a typical concrete water tube, which is used underground in our cities for storm water. Now we're going to use it for housing.
A water tube transformed into a 9-meter squared apartment. Complete with a toilet and shower, Wi-Fi air conditioning, a mini kitchen, and this living room, which at night converts into a bedroom.
You can see the height of this O-Pod is about 2.1 meters. It's tall, but not so tall, but it's wide and it's quite comfortable.
Comfortable and economic, costing 10 times less than a typical Hong Kong apartment. Prices range from 100 to 300 euros a month, depending on location.
This is a big house in Hong Kong. Hey, no fees. No fees. We cannot get some from government house because we are a little bit higher salary. I don't have a house. I live with my parents.
As one of the most expensive and densely populated cities in the world, Hong Kong real estate prices hover around 22,000 euros per square meter, twice the price of Paris. It's a particular challenge for young couples looking to buy. Many, like Don Don, a young divorced mother, have no choice but to live in apartments like this one, no larger than the size of a cubbyhole.
This is my apartment. It's 3.5 meters squared. I live here with my 7-year-old son. I sleep down here, and he sleeps up there. And this is our table. We watch television and eat our meals here.
Her bathroom doubles as a kitchen. Her rent, 400 euros a month. More than 200,000 people in Hong Kong live in similar cramped conditions.
I don't even have enough space to lay down in my bed. I ask myself how we can keep on living here once my son is older.
Overcrowded and overpriced, with no sign of rents going down anytime soon.
Next, a tale of survival. Some researchers say the Przewalski is the last true wild horse. It was nearly hunted to extinction, and the last wild specimen was recorded in Mongolia in the 1960s. But now, the stocky, short-legged horse is making a comeback. Yuka Roye explains.
Stocky and pot-bellied with a zebra-like mane. These horses are distinctly different from their domesticated cousins.
Przewalski horses have 66 chromosomes, while all domesticated horses globally have 64. Those 2 extra chromosomes help wild horses keep their wild characteristics, such as shedding their manes and tails in spring.
Considered wild because it's impossible to tame them, many of the Przewalski horses here at Hustai National Park were actually born in captivity. Known as Tahi in Mongolia, the horses disappeared from the wild in the late 1960s, after reckless hunting left the species on the brink of extinction. The animal wasn't scientifically described until the 19th century by Russian explorer and army officer Nikolai Przewalski. Hunters rushed to capture the foals, many of which died during transportation or in captivity. A reintroduction program started in the early 1990s, with dozens of horses sent back from European zoos.
We decided to select the best horses and bring them by airplane. We had to transport the horses from the Netherlands, then to Luxembourg, and then to Mongolia.
The long journey was stressful and risky, and once in Mongolia, the animals had to adapt to a new environment, where the temperatures could drop to minus 40 degrees Celsius in the winter. But they thrived, and today there are more than 300 of them living here.
Our goal is to grow and increase the number to reach at least 500, because the researchers think if there is in the wild at least 500 population, it will be the self-sustainable.
Despite their remarkable comeback, the Przewalski horse is still endangered, with only about 2,000 individuals on the whole planet.
And finally, if you suffered an unnaturally long or cold winter, then you'll be happy to know spring is upon us. These images coming from China, Guizhou province, has a vast expanse of cherry blossoms that could make Japan jealous, while in Anshun City, yellow, white, and purple rapeseed flowers are arranged to make faces. That's it for this week. We'll leave you with these images of colorful blossoms. Please stay tuned to France 24.
Making the news on France 24.
He won his bet to push up turnout for his re-election. Now, can Vladimir Putin meet the challenges facing today's Russia? We're going to be live from Moscow.
Watch events unfold live on France 24 and France24.com.